Hello everybody, welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of my guide to Google Spreadsheets. Today we're going to be covering date and time formatting, and I hope you guys are excited because we have a different setup for today's episode. I experimented with practice data sets and a lot of practice problems, but I figured this topic is best covered when we just go purely theory, right? So if you'd like to practice, you can do it with your own data. So, I'll give you a few seconds to make a blank document if you'd like to follow along. And otherwise, let's get moving. So, first thing we're going to do is in any cell that you'd like, we can just type in a random date. And we're going to use the American date format here. So month, then day, then year. I'm going to type in the 25th of December of this year and make sure to use slashes to separate the month, the day, and the year. And now, after we've done that, we have our date, and if we double click this date, a little calendar menu opens up. So this is the way that we can check if a date is valid. If a date is invalid, then this calendar menu will not show up. So if you're wondering what can make a date invalid, usually it's the formatting, right? If you mix up the numbers, say have a month that's not existent, like the 13th month, it won't count it as a date, and this calendar menu won't show up. So, you may be thinking, if we can't have months that are greater than 12, then we can't use really the European date system, right? Because if we then try to type in, say, the same date, but in the other system, then if we double click this, you'll notice no calendar shows up. This date is invalid, right? So, why is this the only date that we can use? Well, the issue is our region. You may not know this, you can change your region. The way you do this is you click File, up top left, and then Settings, and then you have this option here, Locale, and you can select this and switch to any country that you'd like. I'm going to be using the German system because that's what I'm used to. And if we switch this, now the spreadsheet will reload, and now you'll see that even though this looks the same up front, the actual value up here is in the European format. It's day, then month, then year, right? So, now you may be thinking, why does it show like this over here, but then show differently in this little menu up here? Well, it's because of the formatting. So, on the top left. So if we click Format here, and then we click Number, we get a bunch of options, but we go down over to Date, right? And we have a bunch of different options for different date formats. And we can select, if we select just Date, then that'll give us the default date formatting for our locale, which in this case is day, then month, then year, separated by periods because we're in Germany. So we click Date, and then now this is in the standard system for our region. But of course, there's situations where you may not want to use that. And for that reason, we have custom date and time right down here. So if we click this, there's a bunch of different options here. You can mess around with it. The main things you need to know is if you click either of day, month, or year, you can change whether it's the word day or whether it has 0 or not, and same with the month, right? And with the year, you can make it a 2-digit year, for example. And most especially, you can click this little drop-down arrow and you can add in hours, minutes, and seconds, as well as duration measures, so elapsed hours, elapsed minutes, and elapsed seconds. So that segues us into our next topic for this episode, which is time formatting. So time formatting is really funny in Google Spreadsheets because it's super easy unless you want to do one specific thing, in which case it's super annoying. You'll find out what that one specific thing is soon, but first I'll show you how to do it easily. You can input any time that you'd like into Google Spreadsheets, and all you have to do is put in, well, a number between 1 and 24, or 1 and 12 if you use the AM/PM system, say 12, and then a colon, and then a number between 1 and 60, I'll go 23, because that's right there on the keyboard. And now, if we double click this, we'll notice it's 12:23:00. So, it's hours, minutes, and seconds, but it'll display as just hours and minutes because that's how we typed it in. This is the easiest way you can get times into Google Spreadsheet. Just type in the two numbers with the colon in between, and that's it, right? Now, if you'd like, we can change this to AM PM. For that, all we have to do is we have to go into Format, and then Number, and then we can make a custom date and time format. And then all we have to do is we have hour, then minute, and then in this drop down, we click AM PM, and then we click Apply. So now it'll just put in the AM PM right after, and now it'll show PM, right? And if we want a little space in between the number and the PM, because that just makes sense, right? Then what we can do is we can go in here, and if we click right in between the two, we can actually just click space and then apply, and now there's a little space there. Perfect, right? But there are situations where you don't want to measure the time. You want to just measure a duration of time, right? So we don't want to be bounded by just the 24 hours that are in a day. And if we want to do that, well, what we can do is we click Format, Number, and then we click Duration. And what this will let us do is it'll let us go over the 24 hours that are in a single day. So most specifically, we can go 24 hours and 1 minute, right? And now we're over that time. Now, here's where we get to the annoying part. We can't have just minutes and seconds, at least not easily. And I'll show you why. So, if we have 10 minutes and 3 seconds. So, intuitively, what you'd want to do is you'd want to go into Format and then Custom Date and Time, and then change this from minute to second, right? That just intuitively makes sense. So if we apply this, you'll notice it's 3 minutes and 0 seconds. And if we look at the value up top left, it's considered the 10 as the hours and the 3 as the minutes and no seconds, right? And this is the way it works with Google Spreadsheets. Sadly, you can't input a time value without it assuming that the leftmost value in your time value is hours. So, how can we solve this? Well, there's a couple of options. The most straightforward one is, instead of typing in minutes then seconds, we type in hours as 0 and then minutes and then seconds, which works, right? But it can get really annoying if you have an entire column's worth of data to fill in that's all like that, and then you just have a bunch of zeros to fill in, right? That's just annoying. The other option is, say we have our value again here, right? We have another column to the right or to the left, and what we do is we select that value, and using our equation skills, we divide it by 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. So what this will do is it'll basically trick the spreadsheet into giving us a different value. And we have to change the formatting here, because of course we do. Change it to duration. And now, that's worked out. But the issue here is this requires an extra column of space then. But anyways, that's the episode finished. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. And another episode should be coming out very soon. So get prepared for that. See ya.